Rating too
Yeah.
hard.
Exactly.
Okay, I think it might be.
I feel like that's what people say who don't walk places.
Yes.
Like if you're
Yes.
in a car all the time, then okay,
Then-
maybe you don't need
right,
an
and
umbrella. But if you're
really
walking
just
around
gouging, yes, I totally, yeah.
in a really good rain jacket. But
All right,
Yes.
I think we are
Yeah.
now.
Thinking I might need to upgrade my dress rain jacket.
well, good morning. I officially call
Morning.
the meeting of Lakewood's Promise Advisory Board to order. Thank you everyone for being here. And we're gonna first welcome guests and welcome public comment. But I think that there's no
I don't
guests,
see guests,
right?
and I don't see public comment.
So we will move on to taking a look at our meeting minutes from November 2nd. And I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes as presented.
I make a motion to approve the minutes as presented.
Thank you, Ellie.
Second.
Awesome. Any discussion or questions? All those in favor of approving the minutes, say aye or raise your hand.
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? They're passed. Thank you. Our new business, Youth Focus Agencies Summit, which we're now calling Partnering for Progress, is scheduled for Saturday, January 27th. I did print out flyers, but I forgot to bring them. I think they've been emailed to you, and I'm going to actually follow up. I'll email a new version of the flyer. I think the version that was mailed out with the agenda is actually an old version. So I'm gonna send a corrected and finalized version to the group. And invitations are underway to about 35 different agencies. Is that right, Joyce? Do you remember? I think 30, 35.
That sounds right to me. I'm not sure of the exact number.
Yeah. But several agencies that are focused on serving youth in Lakewood and putting together agenda. We've roped in the Kids Mental Health Pierce County collaboration to help kind of create the summit for that agenda, because they have been working on collaborating for youth mental health across Pierce County. So we're going to have their expertise, and we're also bringing in mental health professionals to act as facilitators for our conversation, both with youth and adults, and then for all of us together. I don't think there's anything that we need the board to approve, but we just wanted to give an update and get people excited, and also make sure that it's on each of your calendars. I know you're not able to come, but
Is it okay if Matt Campbell, the president of Port Silicon, attends?
yes, of course,
Absolutely.
of course.
Great.
My anniversary weekend, so.
You're off the hook. You're allowed.
Just make sure that he registers so that we have the roster of everybody that's going to be there. Yeah. And you
Exactly.
can do that on our city website under Lakewood's Promise as well, just through that QR code.
Yeah, perfect. I didn't know that it was on the website.
Well,
So
when I went to
I love it.
check it, it says right down here, Partnering for Progress Workshop
Perfect.
registration.
Easy peasy.
Yeah.
And we are hoping that that each of the agencies that we're inviting are well represented, but really we're hoping for like 2 representatives. We have space for 130 people, and we want there to be some balance between agencies, the youth that are there. So each organization has 2-ish people that we'd like to attend. Other feedback or questions or ideas? And I see that Mary Moss has joined us. I think you need to promote her.
Yeah.
And I don't know if the questions are new or not.
I'll double check.
No, they're not.
Yeah, no.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Other questions or feedback? Planning committee is excited to see where this takes us. So we're excited to
I'm
have the opportunity
excited
to bring
too that
people
you
together.
guys are like making progress and you're like, it's going to happen and it's going to be exciting. So
Yeah.
Thank you for helping lead that.
Yeah. This name, Partnering for Progress, I think is a good name for the event, but also like what our goal for Lakewood's Promise
Yeah,
Advisory Board.
exactly, yeah.
And Tayshawn from the YMCA is the one that kind of helped us come up with the building blocks for that name. So
Trademark, branded, boom.
exactly.
If you could only do that with just that phrase.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. I think if you say it on a TikTok, it's true.
It's
So
true, it's locked in.
Yours.
so the other thing that I wanted us to have a conversation about is membership of Lakewood's Promise Advisory Board and officers. I thought before we got into the rules, we'd go back into just a quick reintroduction. I know there's no guests here today, so you don't have to say your name and your pronouns, but I'd love for people to share what about the Lakewood's Promise Advisory Board is important to them. So like, why is this group partnering for progress important? So that'll be our opening question before we ask for people to volunteer for officers. See where I'm coming? So I'll start. I'll start.
Good.
I mean, there's no secrets. I'm going to tell you why we're doing it. But I'll start. I think the Lakewood's Promise Advisory Board is important because the young people of Lakewood deserve, and you've probably heard me say this because this is why I do youth development work, they deserve to become who they were meant to be. And I love the idea of community members and agencies coming together to support who our young people were meant to be. Because that's what makes our community the best that it can be. So
Well, I feel we need to have this group so that this idea, this responsibility, this vision continues in Lakewood. It's important that we have the people who are on this board continue to be on this board. It's a good connection. It's a very good connection.
Mhm.
So you're kind of talking, Ellie, I see, I'm just writing all this down because I'm doing the minutes too. But so kind of when you say responsibility and vision continues, you're saying because you've been here since the beginning and the city was sort of founded with this expectation and vision, and we want to not see that lost.
Right.
Okay, good. That's what I was making sure.
And I would say because there are so many individuals and organizations working towards similar goals, and it's easy to be in our own silos. And, you know, this helps us connect, share what's happening, and work together towards a common purpose. In addition to all the things you said as well.
I would just say community is essential to the foundation of the foundation of the community. The youth is essential to that. So community has to be part of that development process, that progress. We can't go through and watch a neighborhood. I'll just shrink it down. You can't go through and watch a neighborhood become dilapidated and just stand by and watch it. If your goal is to have a robust neighborhood, then you have to be welcoming new folks in. You have to establish culture, climate. Doesn't mean everybody has to be the same, but there has to be a wrap around. And it's no one, coming back to what you were saying, is there's no one organization or space that's going to make that happen. So community is essential. And that means everybody comes together.
thank you.
I think that I like the promise because it's an opportunity for our youth
Can we
to
turn it up?
learn.
Yeah. We're gonna try and turn this up.
Okay.
Oh, we're on delay.
Can you hear us now?
I hear you well.
I hear you, Mary. I don't know if they hear us. But Good morning, by the way.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm good. Good to see you.
Good to see
And good to
you.
see you, Megan.
Yeah.
I think
Well,
it's not-
can you hear me?
This is,
I-
I don't know.
Can you hear us now?
It's funny because I can hear you guys perfect.
Yes.
I hear you guys.
We're having our own meeting over here. We can.
Yes. Well, I just tell you guys, I just think promise is a good thing because it gives the students an opportunity to learn what government is like and what it
Oh,
means
yeah.
to give back to the community, the value of that. And it helps them to learn how to collaborate and work together. I just tell you guys,
Yes.
I think promise is a good thing because it gives the students an opportunity to learn what government is like and what it
Oh,
means
yeah.
to give back to the community, the value of that. And it helps them to learn how to collaborate and work together. You guys, I think promise is a good thing because it gives the students an opportunity to learn what government is like and what it means to give back to the community,
Mhm.
the value of that. And it helps them to learn how to collaborate and work together. You guys, I think promise is a good thing because it gives the students an opportunity to
We're going to hear it over and over again.
it wasn't that good.
Now I'm afraid to say anything.
We're going to hear it over and over again.
It wasn't that good.
Oh,
Now I'm afraid to say anything.
she said we need to use our own mute buttons. Okay. Can you hear me now?
I can.
Okay. Okay. It's important to me to be part of this. I think because I really appreciate and agree with the mission, and it is a unique and particularly poignant way for us to partner together in work. And I feel like we're moving forward with that, and I appreciate that. But it's an opportunity for us to bring resources together and to partner to support our community.
I'm afraid to say anything. I'll tell you guys though. I just love being connected to the community because the youth of Lakewood are our future, honestly. And so I think Mary said it earlier. Being at St. Clair's a little like being in a silo. I don't get that connection to the youth. So this is my way to connect to them.
Very good. Thank you.
What we said was really brilliant, you guys. You'll have to just trust us on this.
And we can no longer hear you.
Because they're muted.
How's everybody doing? Can you hear us
Oh.
now? Oh, my Lord. Yeah, but we can't hear them. So how do we unmute them?
Can you hear us now?
Mm-mm.
They're talking.
No?
But you turn this volume down, right?
There we go.
Oh, I hear it now.
But I'm still delayed.
We can hear you guys.
That's the old one though.
Here, can I have this?
Yeah, you
Yeah,
do
we're
it.
still hearing the YouTube,
What? I'm fine with not live streaming. I mean, what are they gonna
Okay.
do? So
but now try it.
All right, can you hear us now? All right, would one of you try to talk? No. we're afraid to.
Mary, you're on
Yeah.
mute. Joyce. Go ahead, Joyce.
Okay. My comment is, yay, you hear us? Good, good, good. Yeah, I really appreciate being part of this group and the work that this group does because I really believe in the mission and the focus, but it's also a very unique and pointed way for us to be able to partner together, and we don't come together otherwise as much. And this is an opportunity to really collaboratively have impact and bring our resources together.
My comment was that Promise, I'm interested in Promise because it gives a youth an opportunity to learn what it's like to be involved in the community, to appreciate, collaborate, learn how to work together, form. I mean, it teaches a lot of things that they can use going forward in our community. I know Dr. Claudia Thomas was the one that got me involved with the city council, and she was all about the youth, and that's where I am. It's all about bringing our youth up to date and keeping them involved in the community as much as possible. So that's why I'm interested.
Awesome. Thanks, Mary.
And I said that I like being a part of this committee because it really does connect me to the youth of Lakewood, which in my mind is the future of Lakewood. And so it's really important to me. And I think Mary said earlier that you're kind of in a silo. At St. Clair, I'm in a silo. I only see a specific portion of the people. And so this is a great way to get involved with the youth of Lakewood.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing. It was actually wonderful being able to hear the folks that have joined us on Zoom.
Yeah, I want to share one thing too,
Yes,
and
please.
I'll just sort of piggyback with what Ellie said, because I've been here since practically incorporation. And the city was founded on this collaboration and this partnership out of survival. And it was so effective and we were able to do great things. But I'm finding that this next generation doesn't know or remember how we started, and they're just coming in and what's it all about. So just emphasizing that this is our culture. This is how we work in Lakewood. And I tell every new employee and every new volunteer, this is what we do. We all just work together. We come together. We don't, sometimes we have to ask, sometimes we don't even have to ask, but everybody just knows that this is how we do things. We don't do anything by ourselves. We always do it together. So I just want to make sure that that history.
Yeah. It took us 3 years to get to this point. We're together. I remember at the very beginning, where everybody had their own little, issue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Having worked with other communities, definitely not like that everywhere. So
Mhm.
yeah, Lakewood is unique.
Yeah. One final thing is I would add is that I think it's good for us to be in community. So not just as representatives or supporting young people, but it's good for us as adults to be with one another, to collaborate and to build relationships. And I think it makes our work better and more fulfilling. So thank you for being that for me. So as Mary finished the notes,
I'm good.
she has at least the requirements for our board.
Yep.
Because I think we might be in a place for the new year that we might need to recruit a new board member or two. And then we also will be required to elect officers for the new year, correct?
Right. So part of our Lakewood Promise is an advisory board to the city council. So I like to remind the boards that we all work on behalf of the city council. Lakewood's Promise by ordinance is made up of 11 members, and it is appointed by the mayor and city council. So we can recruit folks, we can encourage folks, we can talk about gaps in our board that we really want to see filled, but we have to have individuals apply, fill out the application, and be appointed by council. There's a bit of a process. It's not complicated, but it does say besides of those 11 people, 4 members of the board shall be comprised of representatives of the Clover Park School District, our wonderful superintendent, Pierce College, our wonderful chancellor, Clover Park Technical College, our wonderful president, and the city of Lakewood. And that would be me as the
Our wonderful
designee,
mayor.
yeah, for the city manager. So, so those are the 4 kind of taken seats that, although we have folks fill out their applications, you're kind of an automatic in. And then the rest is really to be made up of individuals that we think are important based on the collaboration or whatever our current purpose is. And so, we have Ellie, who's a community member, communities and schools, here, the hospital. And then we've talked about, the library is important. The YMCA or the Boys and Girls Club, those organizations that are working with kids, Youth for Christ was doing stuff up there. So right now we have on our committee of the 11, 1, 2, Oh, 9, okay,
Well-
because you're not counting Mary Moss, she's a liaison.
Exactly. And
Okay.
Wanda has actually stepped down, correct? So
right.
she shouldn't be on this.
So Kyle
eight.
is still a current member though, right?
Unless someone has heard otherwise.
I haven't heard that. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 I have. Plus our youth council members. So I have 8. Did you say 9?
Well, 9, and
And
then
then
I
Kyle.
remember that Wanda has already, I think she's already.
Yeah,
resigned, right?
yeah, I think her position ended and she's not back. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm counting 8. Am I not
Yep.
counting? Oh, 8,
No,
yeah.
it's 8.
9, 10, 11. So there's 3 members that we could encourage or appoint. And so let's talk about filling out the board, because I do think there's power in that. And so I know that I was really working with trying to get a representative. I think it was for this board from the Asian Pacific Cultural Center. I thought that was really important. And they several times had said yes. They had an individual that they said yes. And I communicated on a regular basis and sent the form several times and really wanted to get that info, but we never got, it never happened. So, but that was again to expand our diversity as well as their important, resource for our community. We've certainly talked about the library. I know we talked about that last time we had representative who felt like she couldn't join the board, but really I was excited about her enthusiasm. And although her time may be limited here, she was really excited. So what are your thoughts on, again, maybe 3 strategic individuals that would help, continue all the things that we just talked about, creating community, being a good partner, developing a relationship or expanding, so what are your thoughts?
What was
I'd-
the deal
I'd
with the
like-
YMCA? Why don't we have a,
Well, we used to have one, we had a member for quite some time, but when his position changed, which often happens, we asked them to bring, find another representative. They were going through a lot of change and then it was COVID. So we haven't had anybody for quite some time.
Mhm.
Doesn't mean that
I
they're
think
not.
Leanna, was she a member of the board or?
Leanna was on the board.
Yeah.
Leanna was on the board and she had come after a gentleman, but then her position was eliminated. She was the executive director at the time. Yeah. So yeah. So Megan, I hear you saying that would be an important partner as YMCA.
yeah.
Okay.
The
And-
Boys
and
Girls Club,
Tay-
we should have the Boys Girls Club rep.
Yeah. Tay was a wonderful contributor to the work we've been doing for the upcoming event and
That
works
Boys
with
Girls
youth
Club?
there. I think
YMCA.
she,
Oh.
yeah, YMCA. If, I think she'd be a great asset unless we're looking for the executive director. But I think, she's the one, she's got energy, she's got great ideas. I'd love to have her on here.
So I think, would someone want to have that conversation with her and then find out? I mean, we definitely would probably want to make sure that she or someone talk to her executive director or supervisor, if you think she's the right person, to say, we'd love to have a rep. She's done great work. What do you think? Is there anybody that has that relationship that would be willing to kind of move forward with that conversation?
Well, did Joyce do it?
Yeah, Joyce or I have been working
Yeah.
with her.
Yeah, either one. And I don't have her contact information. I've just seen her when we've been on in our meetings. But I what are your thoughts, Carrie? I don't want to speak above or beyond what
Yeah,
others think.
I mean, part of what makes sense is that she's the teen person
Right.
for the YMCA. So there's a direct
Yeah.
connection to youth, and she's already been participating in planning for Partners for Progress. So
yeah.
at least a conversation.
Mm-hmm. And
Yeah.
part of when we, with sort of the revision of Lakewood's Promise, and it's revised many times over the last 20 some years, but part of it was having someone like the chancellor, the president of Pierce College, mainly so that that individual could see the benefit of saying, for this particular element, the teen person's doing it. For this particular program, we need the fitness person or whatever. So, but if she's, excited and wants to participate, then, that's the end. It's really about having an end to an organization and having someone that with the authority that can say, we're going to participate and then make that happen. So, either I'm just saying from the big picture. I really think the library is an important resource.
Yeah.
I think especially with what's going on in the world, so.
Yeah. So on the library front, we just this month, or I guess end of November, lost one of our librarians to the Lakewood Library, and she's wonderful. And she's going to be, I think she's one of the head librarians for the Lakewood Library now. And I could contact her and see if there's a youth librarian or if she'd be interested if we want to go that route.
I absolutely think that would be great. And
Okay.
I'm sorry for your loss there, but I'm glad, we've been trying to keep the library alive. They do story time here and pop up every Thursday. And it's just such an important resource for our community. So, okay. And
Yeah.
that's great, Joyce. I appreciate that. What I'll send out to everybody too is later on today is a copy of the information so that as you're talking to them, you can tell them more about like what their role is and a copy of the
Okay.
form, a link to the form. Okay.
So
There's two.
I'll follow up with her. Her name is Deb Derelak.
Awesome. And I think they do have a youth librarian. That's Shelby, who
Okay.
came to our
Oh,
Lakewood
yes.
Promise Advisory
I think
last
she was one of
Would-
many youth librarians.
for Lakewood. Oh, maybe.
I think so because they have a team and I think she's just going to be here for a couple of years, but but that would be a good
Mhm.
follow-up.
Okay.
So,
I'll mention her name to Deb then when I connect with her and we'll see if they can provide someone for us.
Okay.
there's one more. Who else?
Boys and Girls Club.
They've also been working with us as we're planning the summit for
Mhm.
January.
And we always used to have a member from the Boys and Girls Club as
Yep.
well. So,
Yeah.
um,
And their branch manager, Ivory, is who's been working with us to plan, and they're also hosting the summit.
right. Is
in
that
January.
someone that you'd feel comfortable following up
Oh,
with?
yeah. I see
Okay.
her every week.
Okay. So,
Great.
that would be great. And then are there other organizations? Because, we need three, we have three suggestions, but wouldn't hurt to have 4 or 5
Yeah.
just in case.
Is 11 our minimum, or is that the maximum?
It shall be up to 11 members.
Okay.
So,
Is, I'm just trying to think of other organizations that serve marginalized populations. I know particular cultural ethnic groups who reached out to Asian Pacific. Is there still?
like the Oasis Youth Center,
That's
they're
the
really
one I was-
important too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Oasis is the one I was thinking
Mhm.
of. And I don't know if there are others. Those are the.
And
ones that
I think
know.
Shannon sits on one of their boards or volunteers there, so I could talk to
Mhm.
her about reaching out too to see if someone would be interested.
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm gonna be calling them today, so I can
Oh,
mention it.
Okay,
Put a-
sure.
I mean, honestly, this summit that we're planning in January is
That's true.
20 youth serving agencies that are focused specifically
Yeah.
in Lakewood. And so I wonder if,
Would we have an info table?
I
on
think we have an
Lakewood's
info table.
Promise?
I mean, it is a Lakewood's Promise Advisory Board event. So I think it's important that maybe we share a little bit about this
Great idea.
vision around
Oh,
partnering for progress.
in the
And we
intro.
don't even have to, do like, come forward if you're interested, but like let people know what we're about, what we're looking for, our focus, and then hopefully that builds maybe some excitement or
Yeah.
desire among those agencies.
Yeah.
Because even if we can only have 11 board members, we can have 20 people in this room at a
100%.
meeting talking about
Liaisons.
exactly
right.
collaboration, community
Yeah.
members
Right.
attending. So yeah.
I love that. Yeah.
Mary, did we not at one point have military involved, or we were attempting to get military involved?
I'm sure we probably were or did. The problem that we always find with military is it's so transient that you finally figure out who comes and they get on board and then they leave. So,
Yeah.
I don't, and I'm not sure specifically for this board that we've ever really had a military liaison. So,
Okay, I
but
just
I think you're
remember a
right. I
discussion
think
about
it's a community. So,
Mhm. The other area that I've kind of thought about, and I know Kyle is a parent of a young person who lives in Lakewood, but I think having some representatives of people with young people.
Yeah.
I know that, we're all kind of that in some some form or another, but having, you know, family members or parents would be a good connection. I wonder if someone also wants to just reach out to Kyle and check in,
Mhm. Yeah.
and encourage involvement.
Yep. we
I'm
will.
happy to do that if,
Oh, do you know him, or do you want, Shannon could, but if you want to check in,
Yeah.
that's fine. Yeah.
I mean, I know him a little bit.
If you want to do that, it's
He's-
fine. Shannon won't be back.
He's
for another week.
volunteered to deliver food. Actually with communities in school.
That's
So
good.
I know with that. And I was just smirking at Ellie because she's recruited a group of people to help us with deliveries before winter break, which we are
I'm doing
eternally
something
grateful
on
for.
Monday. Is that communities and schools, or is that school district?
School district.
Okay.
Or break bags.
I don't know what I'm doing on Monday. I just said I'd help because they were needed somebody, so I
Yes.
said I'd show up at 9.
Exactly. They'll they distribute like the first to schools, and then we, the week before winter break, will be then anything that families can't come and get from schools, will be doing delivery routes.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So following this, I don't know if you're jumping into the next conversation, but we did, as a point of order, in January, we always elect chair and vice chair. Last year, Carrie stepped up and Megan, you stepped up as vice, and that was fantastic. And obviously you guys have killed it this year because there's a lot happening. But we need to do that election. And you can always keep the same slate of officers, or we can find new folks if people want to participate in that manner. So that will be coming up at our January meeting. So do we want to have, Carrie, would you like to have that conversation?
Yes, I would.
Okay.
I would love to encourage a new chair. Don't be sad.
I didn't
I'm
say
gonna
sad.
stay. I'm gonna stay an instigator. I'm gonna stay on the Lakewood's Promise Advisory Board. But I'd love for someone to facilitate, and I'm happy to support that person. I'm happy to be the vice chair and fill in when needed. We have a lot happening at communities and schools, new staff members, and hopefully new school sites, and a lot that will be in progress in 2024, which I'm really excited about. And also that will be very time filling.
Yeah.
So that's my hope.
That's her dream. I have a dream.
Exactly. And so
So-
I'm curious if there's other people who might be interested or willing.
No one's
You're
making
not
eye
busy.
contact.
No one's making eye contact. And I wonder, is there a barrier to people saying yes? I mean, is it busyness? And it feels, yeah.
Or is it fear of, sometimes people, it's like, well, I don't think I would do a good job, or I don't know enough to be the chair. That's a big responsibility. There's a lot of support, right? To help the chair be the chair. So if there was anybody else that wanted to step in. And then if Carrie's vice chair, she's going to be bossy and be pushing us forward anyway. So that
I
would
take
be
that
great.
as a compliment.
Oh,
I think that's how you meant
100%.
it.
Oh,
Okay,
gosh,
good.
100%.
So maybe you could talk about what's involved in being chair.
Well, she could probably chair
Yeah.
because she's the chair.
Yeah, I mean, really, it's just in the simplest form, it's facilitating the conversation, facilitating the meeting, and making sure that the wheels are moving, and following up to make sure that whatever is, in progress is in progress. When I started, I was more involved in building the agendas, and now, honestly, Shannon puts this agenda in place, and I say, and also we need to talk about officer elections, and
Right.
so we just
Yeah.
put it in. But just thinking through, like, what would that be? So yeah, this agenda is like required to be sent out at certain days ahead of time,
Yeah.
and
And-
that sort of thing. So
Yeah. And the city will do all that stuff.
yep,
And this, you work in concert with Shannon.
yeah, exactly. Shannon does. She's like the staff of the.
She's the staff lead.
on board.
Well, it's just something to think about. Nobody has to commit today, but we could be having this conversation for the next 4 weeks as we get ready for our next meeting. which will be Thursday, January 4th.
Which will be here before we know it.
I know.
And are people going to be here on January 4th? Because I know the school district is still on break.
Are you
Yeah,
still
I
on break?
will be out of the country.
You'll be out of the country? Ooh, lucky you.
That's good. Do you get to go somewhere fun?
My nephew has a destination wedding.
Oh, boy.
Oh, nice.
Right.
Celebration? I love it.
Very
Awesome.
Awesome.
January.
It's the only way you really get to get away, isn't it? Is if you actually leave the country.
Yes.
Yeah, I know.
And all the schools are closed.
Yeah.
I need to try that.
The school server doesn't accept international
Bummer.
communications, so I
Bummer.
can't.
So it's gonna be really bad if they call.
So he's basically probably paying for the wedding to get it out of the country so that he can basically have a break. No.
Although Puerto Rico is that, I think the servers might allow that.
That's
Carrie.
He checked.
All right.
I mean, I think they don't allow when you're out of the city, right? Server doesn't allow it.
It's getting that way.
So I guess here's my encouragement to you is that if you think you know someone who might be interested, maybe give them a little nudge, right? And then we'll check in January.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And if there's questions, people want to talk with me about what it is like, I'm happy to have other conversations. All right. Are there things before January other than getting people on board to being elected as chair and vice chair? Are there other things that need to happen before we meet in January other than take a break, take care of yourself, celebrate all of those good things that get to happen in the next few weeks? All right, since we have a few minutes. Oh, Joyce. It was a mistake. She did not mean to raise her hand. I was just gonna say, because we have a few minutes, are there some updates or highlights that folks want to share live and in person before we wrap?
I,
Go ahead.
okay. I was just going to say, don't forget the parade on Saturday.
That's right. Parade of Lights.
It starts at 4:30 if you want to be in it. We're staging at Park Lodge, starting at 2:30. If you haven't signed up, please do. We'll sneak you in. School districts everybody's participating. It's gonna be great and the weather's gonna be nice, hopefully. So, yes, thank you, Mary. And the parade's from 4:30 to 5:30. We'll do the tree lighting at 5:30. You can see the candy canes. Will be visit with Santa and treats for everybody. So all the choirs are singing.
People signed up.
Oh, that's
Oh,
awesome.
my
We're
God.
hoping to get half that
Yeah.
because of the rain.
It's gonna be nice.
250 is a pretty good sign up.
Yeah, you guys were fantastic last year. So
Oh, that'll be so beautiful.
yeah, so great.
We are running a replacement levy. We have a measure on the ballot for February 14th or 13th, whatever the Tuesday is. Recognizing that folks that are in part of a nonprofit, certain tax exemptions would be it would be a violation to say, please vote yes or no
Right.
for a levy. But you can always share information. You can always share what you are enjoying about the school district. You could contact me and I will get you in touch with Leanna Albrecht for factual information. So our journey will be factual information. There is a Citizens Action Committee being led by Lisa Boyd, chaired by Lisa Boyd. And so she may be reaching out to folks. That is a committee. I'm always careful about what I say, but I'm just informing you. That is a committee that will be out saying, vote yes. They are a pro committee for the levy. It's not it's a replacement. We didn't increase the average rate. Our average rate was $2.36. We're going to keep it at $2.36. And essentially that is a loss for the district because of inflation. And so, but we also are very conscious of our community and where we are right now. This is also a temperature check because we do have buildings that need to be replaced. And while people complain about those buildings because their kids are going into them, they're also not necessarily saying, yes, I will vote for a bond, which is a 60% measure, right? And so this is also going to be a good temperature check for somewhere in the next couple of years. We know we should be running a bond in the next couple of years, but again, is the community ready for that? So
And this is a 51%.
this is
Simple
51
majority?
Simple
Okay.
majority. The last 4 years ago, my first year, it was weird. My first year as superintendent, I had to get a levy passed. And we ended up passing by 54.7 or 54.8. It was a pretty solid victory for us. I would love to get us, I really want to see close to 60%, if not more, so that we can start really getting that temperature check for the foundation of the future, right? I have a shelf life. And so I'm not going to be here at a certain point. But I want to make sure that the future is set up. Our students are set up, our staff are set up, because that only adds to the community. So lots of factual information. You can get it right off of our website. You can let me know, and I will get you information that you can share. And I would hope that you can share to whatever capacity you're able.
Awesome.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
for sharing.
This community answers the call, and sometimes we need to let folks know.
We need to
There's
remind
going to
us.
be about,
A reminder, yeah.
we're going to knock on doors this go round, just to make sure folks know what it is, why it is. That's the Citizen Action Committee is going to knock on doors. Got to make sure I distinguish. It's not
Yeah.
school district. But I believe in this community, and we just had an election where this community spoke loudly and proudly.
Yeah.
And yes, I believe you. I do believe in this.
Yeah.
I run my office after the school district didn't have any levies for 11 years.
Wow.
You ran 9 levies, is that what you just said?
For you, Ellie, you're just.
And the important thing is to get 10 people who will get 10 people to share the information, right? And when we share information, again, you said it earlier, Lakewood is unlike most communities that I've been associated with. Not that they were bad, but Lakewood is just a tier or 2 or 3 above in terms of coming together.
Yeah.
Especially when it's time to come together.
Do it.
When we had 60%.
Yeah.
The first 2, we lost the first 2. Third one.
That's a scary proposition, because I don't like to come from the deficit mindset. But if there is a failure in February, obviously the district, I would recommend to our board that we run again in April.
Yes.
But a failure means then we have to start planning for the worst, which means rift notices and all kinds of things.
Yeah. There's no reason why we can't. Exactly.
Awesome. Anybody have anything else to share?
I'll just share, we're seeing a really strong return of students. We've been, overall enrollment's declining over the last decade, then the pandemic accelerated that. And this most recent year, we're up. So we have state funded students and we have Running Start students. We have other categories, but those are our 2 big categories. So state funded students were up 3.8%, which doesn't sound like a lot, but it actually is.
Yay.
And to wait for this, Running Start is up 17.5%. And so thank you. Thanks to all of our school district partners. And that's just really encouraging, because we, our residents are not just our young people, but our young people need post-secondary education if they're going to make family sustaining wages. And we still have a huge gap in our county overall for that, certainly here in Lakewood. So I'm really excited and energized. Like it felt like that, but I just got the data, to kind of be like, yes,
reaffirm
what
your
you're feeling
feelings.
is real.
Yeah, yay.
So that's great.
Congratulations on
Thank
that.
you.
I'm hosting on Thursday, the 14th. Just a few community members that I end up having coffee with mornings at Starbucks, to have them come out and see what we do. And we're specifically going to look at our anatomage table, which is a big 8-foot table where you can dissect everything from a dog to a human.
Whoa.
And
Like
also our,
virtually?
Mhm.
Like a virtual kind of a thing?
yeah, it's like somebody passed away, they donated their body to
Yeah.
science, and their body has been imaged.
Oh.
And
Oh,
so
wow.
you can literally like turn their head up this way, chop off the top, look at their brain, you can look at their lungs, you can look at their entire body with.
Mary would like to be
You can
invited,
take
is
the
what her
skin
face
away.
is saying.
I've asked, I think Mary Moss is gonna show
Freaking
Mayor
awesome.
Whalen. But if you're
I know, it
interested,
is
I'd love
technology.
to have
I
you
think
come
so. I
by.
think we'd have some folks interested, potentially faculty or a dean.
Yeah,
And
we're actually gonna look at our
Space.
Boeing aerospace or our
Yeah.
aerospace classroom, which is aligned to the Boeing aerospace protocols, where we're getting kids into internships and working as soon as they're done with high
that's
school.
right.
Mhm.
And so we're just gonna look at those two
Yeah.
classrooms. It's
Yeah.
probably gonna be an hour, maybe an hour.
Where are
and a
they
half.
located at?
We have the aerospace and the anatomage. I always mess that up.
Yeah.
At Lakes, at Clover Park, we have the construction and the anatomage, but we're gonna be at Lakes to look at the aerospace and the anatomage.
That is.
We're gonna do that next Thursday. If you want to just meet me at the main office at Lakes High School at 3 p.m.
Are you inviting us to come and hang
Inviting
out
you.
and see this?
If you are available.
Can you tell me that word again? That's not arbitrage, it's
Anatomage.
anato.
Like anatomy,
And if you
Maj.
Google
Image.
that or YouTube that,
Image.
you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. But if you come to you'll see kids. We have an after-school program. It's also part of our anatomy and physiology program, but you'll see it in action.
My gosh, just mentioning that to my son would make him pass out. It's so hilarious. And my daughter would be all over it. That's so cool.
and what's incredible is that our students have access to that in their school.
Yeah.
Amazing.
The board meeting couldn't come, but I'll have to do it another time. Okay.
It sounds like we might need to have another field trip for
Oh,
the
yeah.
Lakewood's Promise Advisory Board.
Honestly, this was just an impromptu because what I found is that people don't know.
Right.
And people
and
want to
we're
know,
not
people
telling
want to see it.
Yeah.
100%.
We need to start
Right.
telling and giving our story and sharing. And so, you know, when these folks look at this, my expectation, and I'll say it, I need you to be ambassadors of what you saw here
Yeah.
today.
And meet you where? Rob?
Main office at Lakes High School, actually here. I made these up to hand out at Starbucks.
All right, thank you.
And he's just sharing information. Just remind everybody, you're just sharing information.
100%. We want you to know what's great about what's going on. We also
Love
want
it.
to know where we're not perfect. That's
Perfect.
kind of how we get better.
Exactly. I'll be in Puyallup, but I'll see if Matt can come and maybe some of our faculty would be really interested in our science, our STEM team, so. Cool.
Awesome. All right. Any other highlights? All right. Seeing none, we're gonna wrap it up. Thank you so much for
Thanks,
being here and for the conversation.
Happy holidays,
Happy
everybody.
holidays.
Be
Thanks,
safe
guys.
and well.
Stay safe.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Yes.
Thank you.
Bye. Merry Christmas.
Bye-bye. Yes.